So good morning, everyone. Today I have a man that almost needs no introduction. He's a legendary frontman. He was in Biohazard, Power Flow, and now he has his new band, BillyBio, which is about to release their second album, Leaders and Liars, in March 25. So, Billy, how are you?
I'm fucking great, man. I'm still in Biohazard. I'm still in Power Flow.
Oh, yeah, I know. I know
so,
that you're...
I'm a busy man, but I'm super happy and psyched and proud to talk about Leaders and Liars, the new record, and I appreciate your time, bro.
No, I appreciate your time as well. I was so lucky that I got a copy of the album to listen to, and I've been listening to it nonstop next week. And what something I love about that BillyBio album is that I like that you can prove that you have aggressive music with positive messages. And especially on the times that we're living in right now, is it very important to you to have that type of positive messages in your songs?
Yeah, I think that, there seems to be a never-ending list of inspiration out there. But I've always been focused on sharing what I have inside and trying to find some sort of positivity out of something. There's always a message. There's always a lesson. There's a saying, there's no losing. There's just learning. So I released a single and a video for a song called "Turn the Wounds," which came out a couple weeks ago. And
it's a great video.
Thank you. And it's also pretty. I mean, it kind of sums up exactly what you're saying. I've always found a way. Even in the worst situation of my life, you're back against the wall, you're in the corner, and there's odds are against you. You're the underdog. I have always seemed to thrive in that position and find a way out. There's just the motto: get knocked down 9 times, stand up 10. That's pretty much how I've always lived, and from Biohazard to BillyBio. So yeah, it's just natural for me. It's not. Pretty much nothing more than to know how to express myself and just to be true and honest, share what's inside of me.
Yeah, and I follow you on the Instagram and the social media, and obviously you're very in tune with speaking your mind, especially with what's going on right now in Ukraine. I see that you've been very vocal about that, and obviously there's songs on this album that would fit perfectly with what's going on right now in the world.
Yeah, dude, I think the biggest thing I've learned in the past couple of days, not learned, but reinforced, was we live in a culture where people need to have more respect, in the sense that it's okay to disagree. And I don't want to live in a world where everybody likes what I like. I don't want to live in a world where we share the same interests and the same likes, and we like the same sports teams. We follow the same religion. We have the same taste in food and music. That would be a fucking boring world.
Yeah,
and I
boring
don't like
as fuck.
I love diversity. I love learning about new things. I never stop learning. I never stop being open to new ideas and to new ways of thinking. But what I'm seeing is, and there's a song on the new record called "Generation Kill." And it basically deals with that, with the cancel culture, how everybody is so quick to jump on somebody because they believe in something different or dislike something that they like, and that it's sad. And I think it's I think that it's only a moment of time. I think that we will probably smoke will settle down, and people will go back to having mutual respect for each other. But the key takeaway for me is respectfully agree to disagree. That's cool. But take something else. Take something out of it.
Have a discussion. Not everyone's gonna think the same, but that's you can't make everyone think the same. And like you said just a few minutes ago, it would be super boring if everyone liked the same things, like the same music. I think it's diverse, and that's something that obviously throughout your whole career you've been very diverse, being with Biohazard, Power Flow, or BillyBio. Like the first memory I have of Biohazard is Judgment Night movie, when you did that soundtrack. I think was with Onyx, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny. That's the gold record on the wall. One of my a proud accomplishment. But I need to focus on Leaders and Liars, but I have something else that's going to come out after Leaders and Liars that I think it's weird. It's so fucking weird, bro. Like when you create something, you create it and you're super excited and nobody knows about it. And it takes months and months, if not a year, for other people to start hearing about it. So the things that I'm working on now, nobody's going to know about it until a year from now. But I always want to talk about it. So the songs, I just finished a new video for a song called Blackout. It comes out tomorrow.
Yeah, that's the song that opens the album.
Yeah. And it's very very. I think out of all the songs, it's probably one that leans more towards Biohazard. But there's things that anyways, you were asking me about Onyx and things like that. So I have a bunch of cool stuff that's coming out soon. And you'll hear about it.
So how was I know that you did this album full pandemic mode. How was the recording process for Leaders and Liars? I know that you had a great band and you did it in your own studio. How was that process? How did it take like a long time, or was it just something to focus on, and with all the shit that's happening and just focus on music?
Yeah, it doesn't. Nothing takes a long time for me because it's like my creativity. I'm always creating. I'm always writing. I'm always working on new stuff. And there comes a point where suddenly all the songs that you've been working on, they seem to paint a picture, and it jumps off the paper. And it says, this time around, it said Leaders and Liars. So there was a point where as I was writing, just a whole group of songs kind of wrote themselves into a record called Leaders and Liars. And it seemed to all fit well together. So it's not a painstaking task for me. It's a labor of love. I love creating. I like sharing what I do. But it's not something I look at it as a job. It's more of something I look at it as a blessing.
Yeah, when something becomes a job, it becomes like a chore. No, it obviously shows that obviously you've been doing this for 30 years. Obviously you enjoy what you're doing. So what does the album title, Leaders and Liars, mean to you?
I think there are so many leaders and there's so many liars, and sometimes they're one and the same. But the leaders that kind of portray this image and ask for your vote or ask for your allegiance are usually the liars. And the true leaders are the ones who don't ask for attention, the ones who don't stick their head above the crowd, the ones who lead the masses and guide as an equal, not as someone who's above or bigger or stronger or taller in a philosophical way. So I think the record encompasses, the title encompasses, and it's just, there's a title track on the record called Leaders and Liars. But the true leaders, I think, are the ones that are woven into our culture and our society. Artists have always been the ones who tell the truth and aren't concerned about pissing off the other, the people across the aisle, left or right or central. And I think we need more leaders that aren't interested in votes than we do those who are trying to expand their range of power.
Yeah, the people who are actually trying to help people and not thinking about the vote. So something that I really like about this album is that it has all types of musical tastes on it. You get some punk, you get some hardcore, you get some metal. So for you, when you are creating something and it's like BillyBio, it's your solo album, you don't get to, it's your input. Is it very important for you to not be pigeonholed in like a musical genre when you're doing BillyBio?
You know what? I don't really care.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck, bro. It's like I make what I make. I create what I create. It's like I turn myself inside out, and I'm already making myself vulnerable by sharing, all my feelings. So I can't be concerned if people like it or don't like it. It's like I did it already. It's done. I'm working on something else. Of course, it's great to hear that people enjoy what you do, or they understand it, or it moves them and they feel it, because the most important music that changed my life and affected me were things that I could relate to.
Yeah.
So it's almost like I love the people who I love hearing from people who get it, and the people who don't get it, it's okay. I didn't write it for them,
No, you wrote it for yourself.
Yeah. So I'm not really, I don't worry too much about that. I learned that early days of Biohazard, because it was like you put so much energy and time. It's like creating. It's like it's like a baby for me, and it's a part of me, and you can't let other people's opinions affect your view of your child. You know what I mean? So it's something I stand proud for, but I can't get wrapped up in all that stuff.
No, yeah, on that point that you're touching on, I think, I think that's important, because I think a lot of artists nowadays like worry, like, are they gonna like it? And they cater, and then they change their sound drastically. So I think if for an artist, if you're doing what you love, like the right people will come along that like it, because it's not fake, it's something real that you created. So when you go through trends comes and goes. So yeah, it's something great that you have stuck around with, with the style that you are known for, and obviously you do it great. So this album has some great songs on it. What would you say is your favorite?
I get that question a lot.
It's like getting your favorite, picking your favorite child.
It's exactly, and with kids always say that. I have a daughter and a son, and they always say, "Who do you like more?" And yeah. I think the right answer is always, it's you, but don't tell your spouse, and don't tell your brother or your sister. But for me, they're all my favorites, and I wouldn't. It's kind of like it's a bad analogy. I was going to say that it's like asking me, which hand do I prefer to hug my son with, which arm? Both of them. So they're all part of me, and it's all an expression of who I am and what I stand for. I remember when I did the first BillyBio record, somebody said to me, that's a different subject, but my wife had said, she said, it's like you're speaking to me. And then on this record with Leaders and Liars, she said, wow, it's so you. It's like, I'm like, of course it's me. It's what I create. She goes, no, but what you're singing about, and when I hear your words, it's things that you talk about, things that you're interested in, things that you care about, things that you're passionate about. I'm like, of course, it's me. So taking something out, like I just did an interview earlier, and they asked me about a song called Sheepdog. It's an instrumental, but the song, where I was coming from, the title, I think that there are they're not just two types of people. They're not just the strong and the weak in the world. There's the people who also understand both sides, and there's the wolves that are trying to just prey on the sheep and the weak, but there are also the sheepdogs who understand the ways of the wolf, but have compassion for the sheep. And I think even things like that, not having that on the record would change it. It was an expression, it was a feeling I had, and there's more thought to it. Even though there's no lyrics, it means something to me.
Yeah, and it transitions into the other song seamlessly, so it's needed. To me, like, I love Fallen Empire song and One Life to Live. I think it's great. I think that live, I can just listen to the people chanting the song and the chorus, because it's supremely catchy for the One Life to Live. And I like the video that you did. It's like the lyric video where he showed people and they say like what they're struggling with, but what like they're dreaming to do. So yeah, I think it's very uplifting.
That's pretty funny because that was a crazy time. I have Toby from H2O on that song with me, and when I finished the record, and a friend of mine, this drummer, she's fucking super badass, really cool chick, Lindsay. She came out of the studio. We were talking about things she has going on, and I played her some music, and she filmed that song, and she put it on the internet, and it wasn't done yet, like so it was kind of like it got leaked, and it's all cool. I'm friends with her. It wasn't ill and intended, but I had to drop news like right after that because we weren't planning to announce the record for like another month. So I rushed through that video. And there's also on my Patreon, which is Billy Biohazard, I did a really cool documentary of the making of that song. And during the pandemic, when I was working on Leaders and Liars, what became Leaders and Liars, I would put the phone down like this, and I'd sit here and play guitar, just hum up different melodies and different tunes, and I documented like all these moments of writing. And that song, because you never know when you create something, you don't know if it's going to be on a record or if you're going to release it or whatever. But that ended up being the first single of the record, One Life to Live.
Yeah.
And the video, I shot the whole thing on my iPhone, one shot. It's pretty
it's like there's like a pool party and really laid back, and it's a fun video and it's a fun song, and I think it goes great as an introduction to the album, and I think it can win maybe people that are not into much of hardcore music, that maybe that's not something that they hear about. So I think it has that crossover appeal for me. So are there any songs that you wrote for this album that sadly didn't make the cut? Of
course, but I don't look at it like they don't make the cut. I look at it like, like for example, Blackout. Like Blackout was a song that I had for a little while, and it's kind of like I said before. There comes a moment when suddenly the picture of your record kind of just takes form. And certain songs kind of magnetize to each other, and it jumps off the table and says, "Here I am Leaders and Liars." And that happened when things like songs like Blackout, or there was I was working on it towards the end. Some of the riffs and some of the ideas were while I was working on the last record, and that it just wasn't ready. And sometimes it's like wine. It has to, or cooking, slow cooking food. There comes a point where it's ready. You can taste it, and it's like there's something about it that tastes great, but it's not ready. It needs a little bit more salt or a little bit more pepper. And all my music has always been like that. But even a song on the first record, there's a song called "Feed the Fire," the title track.
Feed the Fire.
Yeah. And that has. It was actually a song that I showed Danny and Bobby from Biohazard years ago. And it was just like a couple of riffs, and we played it. And I think I released a version of us playing that song on a single. It was like on a 7-inch that I did off the first record. But it's like wine, bro. Like, I think most people can relate, even if you ever do anything creative, like drawing a picture. Sometimes
anything,
you throw it out,
anything that takes creations, like maybe it's not finished them, but you can retake them, and maybe in the future like add something. And you can always, there's just the right time and the right moment. So I want to show the album artwork for the upcoming album so people can see it. So I like it because it has some great coloring on it. I escaped the name of the artist that worked on this.
Yeah, my buddy LaCrue Eyebrows. He's a friend from New York. We've been friends since we were kids, and we always tried to work together. And I watched his artwork really grow. So if you check him out on social media, LaCrew Eyebrows. Maybe you can put it in the thing. But we worked a bit. I sent him some music when I was working on putting the album together. But I spent a lot of time on all aspects of it's not just the music and the lyrics, it's the artwork and the videos. So
It's
there's
just
a
as
whole
important.
It's all one piece of art expression for me. But this album cover is kind of really sums up what I was trying to say with Leaders and Liars.
No, it's a great album cover. Like, you can see the people, you can see the broken heart, you can see the wolves next to the what I assume is the leader in the middle. You can see the planes. Yeah, it's a great, very punk rock album cover, and I really dig it. So yeah, I think it expresses what the album is all about. So
Awesome.
It's really awesome. So I know like with all those years touring, I know that you still practicing? I know you practice Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. How important is that, like, exercise regimen, to do what you do so physically on stage?
Everybody has to have something in their life that gives you balance, gives you grounding. And for me, it's always been jiu-jitsu. But and now my dog is not interested.
He's like, okay, I heard enough.
Yeah, it's like, you pet me enough. So jiu-jitsu is that grounding activity that I do that helps me, keep my feet on the ground. There's physical benefits. There's a lot of mental benefits, but it has helped me in a lot of ways. Blackout song that I mentioned earlier is about drawing a line in the sand where you say, that's it. I have my beliefs, I have my morals, I have my values. And if they're crossed or disrespected, then you have to choose between, do I defend them or do I move the line? But jiu-jitsu has helped me a lot with dealing with that fire on the inside that can come out like that. Biohazard, we had a song called Human Animal, and we're all deep down, we're more close to the caveman instincts than people realize. And when you're pushed to a limit, you will snap. But Blackout is a song that deals with that battle. But jiu-jitsu has helped me come to terms with a lot of things, especially being carrying around a lot of anger when I was younger from my childhood. It helped me put things in perspective and realize just because you can doesn't mean that you always have to solve everything with aggression,
Correct. Yeah.
But
yeah, no, it's
sometimes the pen, the sword is mightier than the pen, and you have to defend and stand up for your own. And I'm for that. I had posted the other day of a picture of me in support of Ukraine.
Yeah.
And I got a lot of people that gave me a lot of flack because just because you're anti-war and you support people who are standing up for themselves doesn't mean you're against the people who are fighting them.
No,
it just
of
means
course.
you're for the people who are oppressed.
You're against the government that's doing that.
Yeah. So I had a lot of Russian fans who I've spent a lot of time in Russia. I've been to Russia way more times than I've been to Ukraine. But part of Biohazard is from Ukraine, and a lot of my close friends are from Ukraine as friends in Russia. But it's the same thing with Israel. We've been to Israel, but we're not anti-Palestine or anti-Muslim just because we've been to Israel.
Of course.
So it goes back to what I was saying before, Generation Kill. I think people need to stop and understand there's a bigger picture. It's not a personal attack if somebody airs their opinion. it's their opinion. And that's what helps propel us forward, is sharing those ideas. You follow?
No, yeah, follow, yeah, because like everyone gets offended by anything nowadays. But yeah, I think having like normal discussions and talking about it like civilized people, helps. There's so much many ways to talk about it. So
Yeah.
you've been in the game in the music industry now for 30 years. How much has the hardcore scene changed from 1992 to 2022?
I don't think it has changed at all. I think it evolves like everything. But there's a song on the new record called Our Scene. And Our Scene is about growing up feeling like I was an outcast, feeling like I didn't fit in with anybody. I liked what I liked. I didn't like a lot of things that the masses liked. And so I felt like I was an outcast. I felt like I didn't belong. I didn't feel comfortable. And then I went to a hardcore show, and punk rock and metal and the underground music scene started to make me feel welcome. I felt like I was among peers. I felt comfortable. And finally, I was like, wow, this is where I belong. So that became my family. And that feeling is what attracts us all to the underground music scene.
Yeah.
And whether it's hardcore, punk rock, or whatever we want to call it, that it's that feeling of camaraderie, that feeling of a family. And I love that. So Our Scene on Leaders and Liars is about that experience. That has never changed. It's what attracts us, to the hardcore scene. And whether you're 17 or 7 or 70, that feeling of being among people that you feel a kinship with, you feel like they're family, that has always been there. It was there in 1977. It was there in 87 and 1997, 2007, and now in 2027 soon, it's going to be the same. And I love that about it. I'm not just an OG that points out the wrongs with the world.
Correct,
I see
yeah.
all the goodness.
Yeah, there's good things, bad things, but yeah, it's a constant seeing in the that hardcore scene, that it's a level of acceptance. So in the world of Biohazard right now, I know that you haven't put out music in some time. Are there any concrete plans for some new Biohazard in the future?
Biohazard has never been a concrete band other than our beliefs and our values. Everything has always been more about the moment. We don't plan things out. When it's right, and we do something. So I still talk to Danny and Bobby weekly. We're still great friends. And to say that there will be another Biohazard time, for sure, 100%. When that happens, who knows? But right now, what I do is what I do with BillyBio and Powerflow. And I couldn't be happier. But Biohazard always runs through my veins. So I'm going to leave it at that.
No, okay, yeah. So yes, going back to Leaders and Liars, another song that I really like is Enough, where you say that sometimes people just need a hug. I thought that line was brilliant and kind of funny, but brilliant. Yeah, sometimes the world just needs a hug. And
yeah,
when
it's funny because case in point, I know that the hardest of hard and the softest of soft, the dirtiest of dirt, street criminal, to the cleanest of fucking whistle motherfucking community person. And one of the things I like most about having that wide range of friends and family is that I understand all the different sides of it, So I'm just happy with the record, but it's a kind of the song is serious. It's a serious song, actually.
No, it's a serious song,
but,
yeah.
And that line, I remember when I wrote the line, I was like, you know what? It's like people act so hard and so tough, but they're so angry. And there was a time in my life where I think I ached for a hug. I ached for love that I was missing. And I was carried around so much anger. And even when there was that opportunity to get that love, I kind of kept it away. And I missed out on a lot of great moments because I had so much anger inside of me that it was like my skin became calloused. But we are a product of who everything that we've experienced, everything that we've been through in the past. And we kind of just evolved. So that line is, I agree.
It's a tongue-in-cheek, but very potent at the same time. So I love to listen to music with my kids. And so I asked my daughter, I'm like, hey, I'm interviewing Billy from BillyBio, and I put like some songs, and she's like, because I put her to different types of music, so she likes it. And I asked her if she wanted me to ask you a question, and she said yes. So this is the question of my 4-year-old. She wanted to know, do you like pepperoni?
I love pepperoni. I'm Italian. I'm Latino, so I love pepperoni, of course. My wife is vegetarian, and she teeters between vegan, but it's a tough sell to have meat in the house. But
it's hard to give up pizza. Yeah. But yeah, so
that's a great question.
That was her honest question, and I'm like, yes, I'll ask him. That's very important. But yeah, I think Leaders and Liars, for people who are tuning in, I'm gonna put on the description like links to it, so where you can buy it physically. If you like hardcore punk, straight to the point album, I think this will be up their alleys, and it's coming out on March 25th for everyone. Like any like last comments that you would like to your fans to know, or the people who listen to this interview, that you would like them to know about the album?
Yeah, of course. I think it speaks for itself. The record is very powerful, impactful, but it's who I am. And if you want to learn a little bit about what I have going on in my life and the world around me through my eyes, check it out. But I think even more importantly, follow me on social media at Billy Biohazard everywhere. And I talk and love conversations, love to learn about new people, new cultures, new ideas, but have respect for all the people that are thinking in a different way than you. Doesn't necessarily mean that they're wrong. I think that's an important thing to remember.
No, I think you hit it on the nail with that one, just like conversation and just embracing the diversity, because it's when you embrace the diversity in the world, I think people will get along better. And I think that's a great message to have, especially because on music that's hard, because for people that think if music is aggressive, it's, it doesn't have a positive message, but that's not true. There's great like bands with that type of like energy and aggressive, but with positive messages, and obviously BillyBio being one of them. So I want to thank you for your time to speak to me today, and hopefully I can see a show soon, because I think a BillyBio show is would be very fucking fun to watch. So until next time, the Shield doing the couch, I'll see you right here on the couch. Thank you.
Thank you, brother.
Good night. Bye-bye.